Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aisha and you're watching Samaa News. Here are today's headlines. Azerbaijan has warned that it was preparing unspecified response measures after a pair of Iranian drones flew across its border and injured 4 people in the Nakhchivan exclave, raising concern about further spillover of the conflict in the Middle East. The Azerbaijani Defense Ministry said in a statement that these attacks will not remain unanswered. It added that it was investigating the types of drones used in the attack and preparing the necessary response measures to protect the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the country and to ensure the safety of civilians and civilian infrastructure. Russia accuses US and Israel of trying to drag Arab countries into a wider Middle East conflict. Russia has accused the United States and Israel of trying to drag Arab countries into a wider Middle East conflict by provoking Iran into striking targets across the region, and said there was no sign Washington and Tel Aviv would let up. Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke by phone to leaders of 4 Arab Gulf states, offering to use Moscow's ties to Iran to relay concerns about Tehran's strikes on oil infrastructure across the region. Arab states in the Gulf, all close US allies, some of which also have close ties with Russia, have come under Iranian drone and missile attacks since the United States and Israel launched their airstrikes on Iran on Saturday. Iran has warned that its military will target Israel's Dimona nuclear facility if Israel and the United States attempt regime change in the Islamic Republic. A senior Iranian military official said Tehran would respond decisively to any foreign intervention or conspiracy aimed at toppling the government. The statement highlighted that Iran is prepared to go to any extent to defend its sovereignty and political system. Meanwhile, US and Israeli attacks on Iran intensified overnight, with bombings reported at several locations. According to officials, the number of casualties from the 5-day assault has exceeded 1,045. Moreover, an independent United Nations probe investigating rights violations in Iran condemned attacks by Israel and the United States on Iran, as well as Tehran's retaliatory strikes across the region, saying they violated the UN Charter. The UN Independent International Fact-Finding Mission on Iran said in a statement that the attacks, which were followed by Iran's retaliatory strikes across the region, run counter to the UN Charter. It also expressed deep shock over a strike that hit the Shahjareh Tayyibair Girls' School in Minab in southern Iran on Saturday, the first day of the US and Israeli attacks. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has said that his country is winning the conflict in Iran and can continue fighting as long as needed. During a Pentagon briefing, he said Iran could not outlast the US, and that it was the US that sets the tone and tempo of the fight. Hegseth also said that US forces had killed an Iranian official accused of heading a unit behind an alleged assassination plot against President Donald Trump, though he said the target was not the original focus of the war. Separately, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Dan Kane said that Iran is firing fewer missiles as the war progresses, adding that US strikes will now expand further inland. At least 80 people were killed when an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship in international waters off southern Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan officials believe 180 people were on board the frigate Iris Dina when it was attacked. They said the incident occurred outside its waters, but launched search and rescue operations after receiving a distress call, adding that 32 survivors were rescued and taken to hospital in Gaul. On the other hand, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has stressed the need for keeping a cool head over the Middle East conflict, acknowledging public concern about the escalation. Speaking in Parliament after fresh criticism from President Trump, Starmer said UK-US military coordination in the region reflected the special relationship in action. He said Britain had been liaising closely with Washington and had pre-deployed assets including air defence systems, counter-drone capabilities and F-35 fighter jets. China will boost defense spending by 7% in 2026, the lowest rate in 5 years, but still outpacing wider economic growth targets and the rest of Asia, at a time of growing regional tension, including over Taiwan. Premier Li Qiang said at the opening of Parliament's annual meeting that China will improve combat readiness and accelerate the development of advanced combat capabilities. He said in his work report, all these steps will boost Qin's strategic capacity to safeguard its sovereignty, security, and development interests. That's all for now. For more updates, visit www.samaa.tv. Thank you for watching Samaa News.